Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Saturday, February 2nd, 2019. My name is Rich, and joining me once again is Bijan. How you making out?
I'm good, man. I'm feeling a lot better, which is great. And life's moving around, bro. I am officially engaged.
Congratulations, man. I knew that, but I am glad you've chosen to share it with the audience as well. That's great.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy, roller coaster of a year. But love of my life, Miss Sarah Bain. She is going to be Sarah Neruzian soon enough. And I'm happy all around. We'll keep it at that.
That's good. That's really good. So make sure you keep us posted. We want to see those wedding pictures. We want to see everything.
That's the stressful part. Now it begins,
Yeah. The whole planning process starts. But today we're actually covering USA versus the World, which is our return to A&W after several months hiatus.
Oh, I missed it.
I did too, man. I didn't realize how much until we were watching it. It was like such a breath of fresh air. Back in familiar stomping grounds and some of our favorite ninjas. It was really great.
Yeah, it was fun, man. And I really have to give a round of applause for the other contestants. All around, a lot of amazing personalities. But I gotta say, I was even more so than Team USA. The athletes on Team Australia and Europe really impressed me simply by the fact that they have little to absolutely no experience on these particular obstacles. So when somebody would, I forget the name of the guy, but when he crushed stage 2 and did the wing nuts, which only a handful of people have done throughout 2 years in stage 2, I mean, that stood out to me. Stuff like that really, really impressed.
The wing nuts didn't seem too easy to you?
No.
They were nerfed, man. They were down to 3. Like I suggested on last week's episode, 3 wing nuts is perfectly fine. Great balancing. Doesn't have the craziness of the 4. You get more people through, but it's still challenging. I really think that's the way to go.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. But one way or another, the wing nuts are still the wing nuts, and they're still making these crazy transitions from one to the
absolutely.
other.
Exactly.
And
it's
all the
still
props to the world. Yeah, if anybody wants to say, oh, it's too easy or whatever, it's not. I mean, I couldn't even imagine doing that. But, yeah, we'll get into it. But, man, Jesse Labreck, run of the night.
Yeah, it was great all around. So let's take a look here. So for those that are listening in the future or didn't watch the special, we had USA versus the World.
Seriously, if you're listening, go watch a special. They're always entertaining.
It was really, really good. We had USA, Europe, and Australia in this one. No Team Japan. A little disappointing, but understandable, given the track record has not been great. And we kind of had Europe fill in for them in that, not so great position of coming in last place and not doing well through most of the special.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable, though. What stood out to me was Team Australia. I mean, they were stars in the making and amazing personalities all around, just a lot of different characters. But Team UK, or Team Europe, sorry, I was impressed by them also. Even though they came in last, I gotta say, still very impressed.
There were some great
every time they did those highlights though, or cutscenes from UK Ninja Warrior, man, I just heard those hosts' voice and I cringed. I don't know if they're as bad as they used to be, but still, I got PTSD or something, bro. Oh, I can't.
Yeah, it was weird because this is not how I expected it to go. Were you surprised? Because I know I really didn't give Australia much of a chance. We've heard firsthand that Australia was new to the sport. It didn't catch on there until quite recently. It's really new. As much as I knew Olivia was great, I didn't know how much the rest of the team would be able to hold up against Europe and USA. And man, oh man, did they ever prove me wrong. Yeah,
I gotta say, I actually kind of pegged Team Australia to win this, even before I watched it. I just had something about it, I couldn't really give you a reason why. I just felt that way. But one thing that stood out to me was how legit, Ninja Warrior Australia looked like this was my first time seeing it, like scenes from it and things like that, and it looked really legit. So that might be something maybe we'll check out someday, because at the very least, maybe the finals, I would be very interested to see what their final stages are like. UK Ninja Warrior, the people are there, the hosts, we'll see. But maybe that's something, if the listeners are interested, we can cover in the future.
Yeah, I really thought we would have by now. I really thought we would, especially we had Adam Waring, I hope I'm getting his last name right, Aussie Ninja Warrior, join us last season, 2 seasons ago. It's been quite a while, to talk about it and to give us a sense of what was going on in Australia. And we were very excited at the time. And it's just been back to back. We've had so many spin-offs and other obstacle course shows that we haven't really had much of an off season to even approach it. But I think we should make some time. We really should check it out.
True. But man, after Titan Games, it's like, I got to stop with these,
yeah,
these shows that aren't really Ninja Warrior. Oh boy. But yeah, let's get into this, man.
Yeah. Okay. So right off the bat, such a great start. We have, to remind you, the scoring system, they did change things up a bit, I think. It feels like it was different. There's something a little odd about this one, because it didn't give extra points for the later stages, right? So every round that they raced, it was 2 points to the winner, 1 point to second place, 0 points for last. So it didn't ramp up. It didn't really give much of a chance for people to catch up later on as the night wore on, as we saw, which I don't know. I kind of liked it. I think it makes more sense that way. It kind of sucks a little bit of the drama out later when you know who's going to be going to the stage 4. We got to cover the format a little bit before we get into the runs. I got to say, I'm not a huge fan of it all coming down to a climb off. No matter what happens, that's how it's decided. 1-on-1, stage 4.
Yeah, I 100% agree, actually. I absolutely loved the fact where the points don't ramp up, because if it was every competitor hitting every stage, that's one thing, but it's different competitors. So it's more of a game of chess, and every single person is allotted in a different way. I'm glad that, each female member of a team, they didn't have like all the females compete against each other. It's pick and choose. Here's your 5 contestants. Where do you want them to competing? It's all equal. And the point system is all equal also. That works because all the stages are different. It's not like stage 3 is, how do I say this? If you're a parkour person, you're going to have an easier time in stage 1, I have to imagine. But that doesn't necessarily discredit your abilities in not taking on stage 3. So I'm glad that it's all, equal pacing and everything. But like you, man, they did the Ultimate Beastmaster thing where it's like, oh, all points are out the window and it goes down to a climb off. That said, do you know what the point total was for like both teams, USA and Australia by the end? Because if I remember correctly, it wasn't too far off. So even if it was based on points, like, the winner of the climb off gets 2 points and the loser gets 0 points, I think it still would have equated to the same, tally, like USA winning. But, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the climb off in general, but I think that's more of my qualms in stage 4.
I think a combination of what we had in the past with this might work better. I didn't like the fact that it only came down when there was a tie, which miraculously there had been before. To have a tie is very strange that it worked out that way, especially with multiple teams prior. So I really didn't think that was a great way to do it either. I think maybe making it so you have to win by 3 points or something, right? And make the climb worth 4, whatever it is, so that if there is a wide enough gap, it doesn't have to go to a climb off. So there's a pressure on the team to try to win it in stage 3, right? If they can get enough points, they can actually bring it home there. But if they can't build up enough, then it goes to the climb off.
Yeah.
Something like that, anyway.
That's fine. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just feel like it takes away from the rest of it. Who cares, right? I mean, by stage 2, USA or one of them probably had it on lock. I don't know. It's just a weird episode, and the scoring system just a little odd. They got to fix it a little bit, tweak it.
Mm-hmm. That said, it's not a grotesquely bad format. I mean, we've dealt with way worse flaws in formats. I don't want to harp on it too much of oh, this is terrible. It's just a minor thing. All around, very fun format and structure of the episode and special.
So without further ado, this far into the episode, let's actually talk about some of the runs. Let's talk about the ninjas that everybody's here to actually hear about. Right off the bat, Barclay Stockett. I was so excited to see her on the course, and she did not disappoint at all. She was able to beat Jeep Run this time around and finishes stage 1, getting her first buzzer. Really? This is her first buzzer? How did I miss that?
It's crazy, right? Because in the past 2 seasons, she always got very, very close to getting to the buzzer, but she failed in both attempts. And Barclay, in my opinion, is one of the people where I feel like next year is her year where she's at least going to hit the buzzer on stage 1. She just has it, and not only has it, but it's very clear that she technically can do all the obstacles. Which is obviously the biggest wall against most people failing stage 1. It's not necessarily that she can't do it. It's always just a stopgap of maybe a mental error or just running out of time, something like that. But her abilities are all there, and I'm glad she was actually able to put it on display. But not only that, she's going in next year with the mental knowledge that she has completed stage 1 and hit that buzzer. And that makes a huge, huge difference. So I'm expecting a lot from her, this upcoming season. But man, how awesome was it just to see her, the emotional weight lifted off her shoulders there?
I think you're underestimating, or maybe I just put more weight on it than you did. Do you get what I'm saying? When I say buzzer, I don't just mean stage 1. I mean any buzzer. She hasn't finished a qualifying course.
Really?
Yeah, this is her first buzzer.
I did not know that.
Isn't that crazy?
That can't be right.
That's
really
what I said. Yeah. I mean, when I thought about it, I realized she has been on the back end of a city finals course, but she fell earlier in the qualifying, right? She managed to get past the 4th obstacle, kind of the Tiana Weberly syndrome, right? Where it's obstacle 4 has her number. Yeah, I haven't double checked it, but when I think about it, that sounds right. I don't think I've seen her actually hit a buzzer.
That's insane, man. I mean, well, that really speaks more. I'm really happy for her then, and also props to everybody that the producers or whoever seeked out every Ninja Warrior in the sport and said Barclay is going to be representing Team USA. Because even though she hasn't hit a buzzer, she is that damn talented. Good on them, and good on Barclay for stepping up. I mean, what a way to get her first buzzer, right? I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. And after her, we had Georgia from...
Dude, Georgia, this lady is so dope. I don't know. Something about her video, right? Her doing all this crazy parkour stuff, but you see these jumps she's doing, bro? She is tiny. And she is making jumps probably she can probably jump over my head, and I'm 5'11". This woman is amazing. I low-key was oh, how new is she to the sport? But we saw her on UK Ninja Warrior, so she's got something. And if there's anything to get me back to UK Ninja Warrior, it's watching contestants like these actually excel. Maybe I'll watch it on mute or something. But man,
right.
That was I'm rooting for her. Something about her. She's got a crazy good likability to her.
She does, and she's got a lot of skill too. So it's Georgia Munroe from Team Europe. She's a parkour athlete. She was a rookie on Ninja Warrior UK, so you're right. She is newer to the sport, but she was the last woman standing. She made it further than any other woman. So she just missed the landing on Double Dipper, but I feel like that doesn't really adequately show her skill. She was very comfortable, very solid to that point, and it was just a minor slip up on Double Dipper, which took out so many athletes. I think she is incredible, and I think we'll see her for a while to come.
Especially in the fact where, in the Double Dipper, the part that she failed at, she actually got through the transition from the first bar to the second bar, and she was fine. She just slipped up at the end of it. So in many ways, the hardest part, she got through. And I would love to have seen what she can do in the back half of that stage 1, because I don't know. I can't say she'd complete it, but I think she would get a lot farther. You can tell that she's kind of new to the sport, right, Rich? So the fact is that she took on the double dipper and got that far in. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, she's great. Someone to watch for sure, especially if you're a fan of Ninja Warrior UK, which we have heard is getting better. She is someone you want to keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, at the end of the day, it's really about the contestants. The hosts add a lot, but contestants really matter. And man, rookie and last woman standing. That's impressive.
Yeah, and speaking of impressive, for Team Australia, we had Jack Wilson, Indigenous Ambassador and the Deadly Ninja, who had a near miss on Jeep Run Dismount and the Razor Beams, but he did make it, and he beat Barclay's time by about 30 seconds, so Australia did take home the first race.
Yeah, it was fun, man. His nickname... there's got to be a story there because nothing about him seems deadly or anything. He seems like the nicest, most likable guy. It's like a Grant McCartney, and all of a sudden he's the Deadly Ninja. It's like, what?
He's like also, the ball guy called Curly, right? It's like an ironic nickname.
I guess, man. Yeah, like once again, likable character, very talented, and the fact that these guys probably have very little experience training for the American Ninja Warrior specific obstacles. That's really dope.
All right, moving on to round 2. We had Oliver Edelmann from Team Europe take the course, German acrobat, and he was the last man standing from season 1 of Ninja Warrior Germany. I don't know. Something about him didn't really click with me at first. I kind of thought, oh, this guy's going to fall early. But wow, he actually did really well. Looked very, very solid on the course. And made the craziest save on the double dipper I have ever seen.
That was pretty dope.
He doesn't land it right, and he's like hanging off the side of the thing, gripping it from the bottom and the sides, and he's got to push himself up. He's practically upside down. If you haven't seen it, one of the craziest saves I think we've seen in Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, basically where most people like... they hit the pads or any of those like little, like the black area, right? Where in any of these obstacles, and you see them for a split second holding, and all of a sudden they just fall back into the water. This guy actually somehow, with superhuman grip, just holds on. That was amazing, and I could just imagine he was so drained after that.
I bet, and so I didn't think he would make it much further, but he did. And when he slammed into the far side of the razor beams, I jumped. I thought he like broke his leg or something the way he hit that. It looked nasty. But he ended up finishing the course. And I actually liked the guy. He did really well.
Yeah. He was probably hurting for the rest of the day. Probably the rest of the week. but he got through.
He beat his body up, but he did make it through. After him, from Team Australia, we had Ashlin Herbert, carpenter from Melbourne. Very, very fast finish with no problems whatsoever. He had 2:09 for his time, and I thought that was a very solid run that was probably going to hold.
Okay, yeah, this guy was really impressive because I'll be right off the bat first. I'm like, who is this dude? He looked like, just the look, it's like, okay, like maybe this guy's going to be like, He's kind of got a Jake Murray vibe to him, and I can't even really explain why. Probably just, like, he knows how he looks, and it's like, this guy's a joker. But tons of personality. What shocked me was how damn impressive he was. He reminds me a lot of Daniel Gill. In the way that he moves, he's very technical, but very, very fluid and fast. And I just loved how he moved and everything. Like, pure shock and surprise. I think he's going to be a big star. Well, he probably is a big star.
Yeah,
but
probably.
Even more so. It's Australian Ninja Warrior this guy's on, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is like the type of dude that I would like go out of my way to see his runs on.
Yeah, Australia brought not just the talent, they brought the personality. The whole team was great.
For real, though, bro. Like, they're we're going to do it later, but they talking about beer. They're like doing, like, they were the fun peeps. Like, if you're just getting anybody that's not a fan of American Ninja Warrior or whatever and just watching this special, I don't care if you're American, European, or what. Team Australia are the dope peeps. No shade to anybody else, but they're the fun ones.
Yeah, they did really well. And oh my God, up next was Mathis Owhadi, who that kid has swagger. Like he does not seem to get shaken at all. They talked about nerves. I'm like that. He has no nerves. He does not care. Well, he doesn't care. He just can't shake the guy. Like he just got all the confidence of youth, and he just tore into that course, absolutely demolishing it. Beat the fastest time for the regular season, and just absolutely floored everyone.
It was amazing to see. It was one of those things where he just never stopped. Reminded me a lot of early Flip Rodriguez, where it's just like nonstop cardio, nonstop slowing down. This kid is going to be something big. Like I very, very much seeing him being very popular with the young girls. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, he's definitely got something.
Yeah, I really, and I don't wish any ill will on him, but I want to see how he handles a misstep, because I feel like he hasn't had it yet. So how does he recover from that? How does he take it? It'll be interesting to see how he does next season.
I mean, he's young. We're eventually going to see it. I mean,
yeah.
At some point. Like maybe not, but
It was kind of like Joe. Joe just did everything so perfectly. It was interesting to see how he copes with that. And I feel like with Joe, he's going to come back stronger than ever next year. And I feel like Mathis probably will too, if and when that happens.
Mm-hmm. Watch him just win next year, and it's like we never see him. Like
we have no idea. And I don't feel proud. You know what? I kind of feel like, we were so early on with him. He was one of our first guests on this podcast. 3 years before he was even. Yeah, he was on the podcast before you were. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, the original, Armchair Ninja podcast co-host, I guess. But yeah. So what was he, 12 at that time? Maybe he was like just born.
That, yeah. He was definitely kid at that point. But we've got stage 2 to look at here, and stage 2 was pretty cool. Stage 2 was great. We had Najee Richardson, and I hadn't even thought of it till he took the course. This is his chance at redemption for the water walls.
Yeah, I didn't make that connection either until they showed it, but what an amazing story. Like, I like that capper of it, because really that was harrowing when you think back to what he went through, and the fact that he did have an asthma attack and did suffer this right at the end stage, and that was the cause of his failure for an entire year of training. I mean, when it all culminates like that, that's a lot. And the fact that he was able to get redemption, I mean, this was probably a bigger win for him than even taking on stage 3 or anything else. Like, this, I have to imagine, was the main thing he wanted.
Yeah, for sure. And it was funny because I just looked at my notes and I realized I wrote down he was going slow, but I think the wing nuts mean that it's okay. Basically that he's going to be the only one to be able to beat the wing nuts, so it didn't really matter if he took his time. I was wrong because there was only 3 wing nuts. And he killed the water walls this time. He did get his redemption. He did hit the buzzer. I was very, very happy when that happened for him.
Yeah, I was really happy for him too, because you never want to see somebody go out like that or struggle like that. When it comes to real life stuff, I mean, that's just never, fun's the wrong term, but you just feel for the person more. And I'm really happy that he got that redemption. And yeah, I mean, I suffer from asthma too, and that's so surreal. Very rarely have I gotten asthma attacks. I have to imagine similar to him, but when they happen, they are rough. I got an asthma attack on the first mile of last year's Spartan Beast, and I had like another 20 miles to go at like a mile altitude, and not fun. Just say that. So I feel the guy's pain, literally.
Yeah, I think you even more than me. I mean, I have asthma too, but I don't push myself in that way, so I haven't had to deal with that kind of a strain at the same time. I can't imagine that it's much fun.
Huffing and puffing and literally no oxygen. Just nothing.
Next to take the course was Javier Cano from Team Europe, and I'm sorry if I get that wrong. And he ended up failing on Deja Vu, unfortunately. He just got tripped up, couldn't quite make the dismount. He actually got fast-forwarded, I believe.
I was about to say, I don't remember anything about this guy.
Yeah, he must have been the guy that was fast-forwarded.
This is all rich.
Yeah, he got stuck on I think it was the first bar. He couldn't get it to hook, and he ended up dismounting from it because they said, once he landed on the landing pad, they said he was out. So he must have did the obstacle wrong, basically, by skipping the second bar.
What you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So low key, I kind of feel like, hey, if you can make that transition, you should be able to move on.
Yes.
But that's my own thoughts.
Yes. 100% yes.
Oh yeah, I know. I forgot. I'm talking to the king of. I won't get you. I won't get you started, man.
I mean, the goal is to get you from point A to point B. I don't care how you get across, as long as you're not grabbing support structures. It should all be game, but that's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
And then we had Bryson Klein from Team Australia, climber, and wow, this guy.
Impressive.
This guy took everyone by surprise and ended up beating Najee at stage 2 by 9 seconds. He took the whole course down without really having that much of a struggle.
Probably out of all the newcomers, I kind of feel like he was the most impressive and somebody I really, really want to watch again. Maybe him and the Jake Murray guy, like those two. But this kid really showed me something special. In kind of comparisons, he kind of reminds me of a Najee Richardson, which is funny and apropos because he beat him. But, very, very athletic and very, very fast. And the way he just jumped into that water and, threw caution out the wind, I really liked how this kid moved. Don't know much about him. I got to tell you, his personality story-wise, I don't remember much of him. But the way he moved and the way he competed, very, very impressive. Bro, I just want to see these guys, take on American Ninja Warrior. I hate that it's, I understand why there are the barriers of, regions and everything. But, dude, I just want to see them compete. Have an international Ninja Warrior, just like a special or something.
Oh, that would be good. Just have them. I mean, that's kind of what we're watching, I guess, but...
Bro, you know what I mean, though, man.
Yeah, proper,
that would be so awesome.
Do stage 1 through, just have it international. I mean, Sasuke's kind of that. They have some international competitors, but not fully.
Yeah, Sasuke's got hey, we'll give you 2 people from this country or something.
Yeah.
But hey, it's more than American Ninja Warrior, so.
It's true. And we didn't even mention the fact that Team Europe, I mean, as much as they, did not have a great time here, they were a whole new team. There was no returning people that I could tell, including Sean McCall did not come back, but also Stefano Gisolfi and other ones that we've seen come back multiple years. I wonder what happened that everybody just bailed this year.
Actually, I want to give a shout out to Chase247 on YouTube from our last episode. Actually, he made she made a clarification where I said, and I quote, "The producers of ANW wanted a clean slate for the non-USA teams this year. It hurts me to say that Sean McCall is not there." So basically, it sounds like they wanted to get rid of all of the competitors from former past years, and everybody knew. But more so, I went in and I took a look. When it comes to Team Europe and Team Australia, these are no longer specialized athletes, but people that have actually competed on their, respective Ninja Warriors, which means for, I think, the first time really ever in this special, we have exclusively all Ninja Warrior athletes. And I say that because Sean McCall and people like him don't actually compete on UK Ninja Warrior or any other Ninja Warriors respectively. He's just a world-famous rock climber, which is why he would destroy on stage 4 all the time. And I would love to see him compete in a Ninja Warrior, but they don't. So this actually made a world of difference, and I really like the fact that they were able to give that love and that, I guess, spotlight to all of these Ninja Warriors, because, I don't know, I kind of like it more.
Cool. No, that makes sense. For everyone except Sean McCall, I would agree. And I think there was one of the Swedish Ninja Warriors was on there before too, and he didn't come back either, so that's a little odd. No, it makes sense. I think it is good to give some recognition to those international Ninja Warriors that are out there. There's so many. There are so many, except Canada, out there, that it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, well, Canada, they need to. There's no way of saying a joke without sounding racist, so I'm going to move on.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it is hard to get, ice time, so they could set up the course inside because it'd be too cold outside. So we'll let it slide, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
So, getting back to the actual show here, we had we're back. Oh, we had Olivia Vivian was next in the next race. We had one we were so excited to see her segment. I don't know. There's something about it didn't. I know she's entertaining, but I feel like if you didn't see her in anything else, that this might be a little cringy. Did you find?
Yeah, I mean, it's my kind of like my love-hate relationship with A&W, which is they find a wacky character and they go way too far in the over like the character like role, or you see a sappy story and you go way too far in that way. It's like, hey, you don't need to go to the extremes, guys, you know? And I get it, larger than live television show, blah blah blah, I get it, but at a certain point it no longer becomes likable and it becomes cringeworthy. I don't think Olivia Vivian reached that point, but I can definitely understand if you felt that way. That said, I love Olivia Vivian. She is so charismatic. She is so fun. And she's a star. Like, she's not a star in the making, but she's just a damn star. And I just hate the fact that we weren't able to see on this special how damn talented she is, because she is so talented. But I have to imagine that she's going to be back. Clearly they love her. Clearly they love everything about her personality. I mean, I think we're going to be seeing her again next year in these specials.
I hope so. She's fantastic. Like you said, not just personality-wise, talent-wise. We've seen her do all kinds of crazy things. And I know she can do much better. Unfortunately, in this case, she did go out on the epic catch and release, which happens. It happened to... Oh, God, one of the big ninjas went out on it this year. Who was it? Do you remember who it was? One of the big names.
I don't remember, but I kind of see it in my head. I mean, it was a big ninja.
Was it Jake Murray?
Ninja. Could have been.
It was somebody like that. It was Jake or maybe Brian Arnold. One of those guys that, one of our favorites went out on it, and it was very disappointing. So it can happen to anybody.
Yeah. Just like anybody can, fall on that damn crayon obstacle,
Exactly.
It just happens. Yeah.
So the most talented of athletes can slip up in just the craziest ways.
Yep. Shedding a tear.
After Olivia, we had Iris Matamoros. I hope I got that right, from Team Europe. And he at 37 is the oldest competitor, and he might as well have been walking on there with a cane the way they went on about it. He's 37. He's not that old.
Ancient, man. Just so, get the depends and everything else, bro.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing. Jessie Graff is 35. You're going to start telling me she's old now, too?
And now I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Nope, just moving on.
Exactly. Yeah. I'd like to see them try. That is still prime athlete years.
I mean, not just that. I mean, come on. This dude might have been the most ripped in the, of the competition, right?
Yeah, he was in clearly fantastic shape. He did struggle in that first obstacle, though. Epic catch and release, I thought was going to do him in. He was struggling hardcore on it.
Well, he just clearly... I don't know if he didn't know how to tackle that obstacle, or he just tried to do a different method and it didn't work out for him. But either way, I mean, I got to tell you, just his run did nothing for me, so...
Oh, really? That's funny, because...
It was just as soon as I saw him struggling on the first, I'm like, in particular, when it comes to Siege 2... If you burn yourself out early, you're done in.
I would agree. And that was kind of like it. I kind of lost interest too. I'm like, well, he's obviously not going to go very far. He just burned himself out. But he kept going and going. And that drew me in. I thought, okay, this ancient being that's taken the course here and really struggled in the first obstacle is somehow managing to push through, shaking the dust off, and made it all the way to the last wing nut, which was really impressive given that bad start that he had. Yeah.
I'd just like to point out to everybody that Rich just called a 37-year-old an ancient being.
Sarcastically. He is 6 years younger than me.
It's recorded. It's on record, bro.
Yeah. He is. But after him, we had the young and talented Jesse Labreck take the course.
Run of the night. Run of the month. Probably not run of the year, but damn was it good, man. This was amazing. This is what I like to see in a Ninja Warrior run. We had drama. We had determination. We had struggle. We had coming back from, very big strains. You could see it. And just all this great determination. And once again, like more history. I mean, everything about this run was a huge, huge win. I loved it.
Yes. I mean, so many firsts, right? So it's
And
crazy.
seconds.
Like, think about how many obstacles she took down that no woman's ever faced before. And I'm surprised they didn't harp on it because they love to do that a lot, right? They were really trying to pin Jessie Graff into this episode wherever they could since she wasn't actually there. So, which I kind of felt bad for Labreck for that, and now I'm doing it too. But she put her own mark on the course. She did all these obstacles that we haven't seen a woman take down before, including the wing nuts, which are incredibly difficult. Yeah, just all around a fantastic run. He said there was some struggle in there. It looked like maybe she hurt her back at one point, but she pushed through, persevered, and yeah, she's a talent to be reckoned with. Can't wait to see her again this season.
Yeah, I mean, in particular, when she went on, I believe it's called a swing surfer or something like that, right, Rich? You guys know what I'm talking about, like the TikTok obstacle.
Right.
When she did the transition, she landed, rather than forwards hitting that rope, she kind of slipped downwards and she grabbed the rope with all of her body weight and the gravitational force going downwards. So when she caught herself, basically all that weight or minutia, whatever you want to call it, all that pressure went straight downwards into her lower back just by the way that she was pulling. And she most likely tweaked her back really badly. And that stuff hurts. Like, really badly hurts. But she was able to not only get through that, but this was the key for me, which made me respect her so much, is the fact that the next obstacle, after she injures her lower back, what does she have to take on? The wing nuts, an obstacle no woman has ever even faced before in, proper A&W. And this obstacle is completely predicated not only on, like, of course, catching yourself, but how do you get yourself to the point where you're swinging through the air? You have to lâcher, or kip, whatever the term is, swing your body. And you do that with your core, your back muscles. That's all you're using to swing. And in this particular obstacle, you have to do it a lot. Like, you have to control your body completely with your core. And her just straining through all of that pain that she must have been going through and stay focused and stay, like, moving and swinging her body. And not only that, but transitioning and catching herself. Guess what happens when you catch yourself on a wing nut? Guess where all that pressure is going once again? Straight to your lower back. Every time you catch yourself, it's in the arms, and all that way it goes straight down your torso onto your lower back and your core. And she did it over and over again. And she completed the entire obstacle. I cannot tell you guys how absolutely amazing that was. And for her to get through that, the first woman to do it, and with the struggle involved, I mean, it was absolutely awe-inspiring. And then she goes through another obstacle that's new to not to us or whatever, to her. I forget the name, but the water obstacle, you guys know. And the fact that we already had the drama built up in this episode in previous seasons with Najee Richardson. The fact that she was already out of breath, already hurting, and she was able to, like, just muscle and power through that. I mean, it was kind of like that moment where I think it was Joe Morosky. It could have been somebody else, but like the walls, and they're just stomping down, where it's just like muscling through the end, and everybody's rooting for you because you know what's going to happen. That was her moment, and that was absolutely amazing, and that's history. The second woman to ever complete stage 2, and I'm so incredibly happy for Jessie Labreck. Win all around.
Yes, incredibly happy for her. Not as surprised as as we are happy. Like, it really knew she was going to do it. It didn't seem much of a question. And that made a perfect score at this point, by the way. That is 4 buzzers for Team USA at this point. They were having like a fantastic night.
Mm-hmm. And Jessie Labreck, once again, the winner of the Stage 5 Ninja Awards for Best Female Ninja of the Year. There's a reason for that. Her team won Ninja versus Ninja. She did so phenomenal on A&W proper. And she's the second woman to complete stage 2. Her like accomplishments continue to build, and I can't wait to see what she has next year. All right, I'm done praising, gloating about her. Let's actually, talk about the show again.
That's right. So back to stage 3. Stage 3, starting off very strongly with Drew Drechsel, with his headphones in as always, was able to beat the ultimate cliffhanger this time, and ended up going out at the end of Cane Lane after a very good, solid run, having no real struggles until that point, and just his grip just finally gave out towards the end of Cane Lane. It was nice to kind of see more of stage 3. It was nice to get further into it.
Yeah, I thought he had it, man. Like he did not seem like he was struggling at all. And then out of nowhere, like it's 100% like, oh, I got this in a bag, just calm, cool, and collected. And then out of nowhere, complete struggling. I was like, what happened? But dude, Cane Lane's no joke. I'm happy that we got to see the later parts of stage 3. And yeah, he's human.
He is.
Did you think he had it?
I did, until I saw him shaking out towards the end of the body prop, curved body prop. I thought, maybe his arms aren't gonna be able to manage the rest of this, because I knew there was a lot more to come. So if he's shaking out at that point, it wasn't a good sign.
Yeah. So what's after Cane Lane? Is it just the that hopping bar obstacle? Is that what's left?
Yeah, I think that is. I think that might be the last one.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was definitely possible. He did stage 3 last year or the year before when he did it. So, I mean, we know he can do it when he has the opportunity. So, it's just a matter of stringing it all together.
Mm-hmm.
The next guy to take the course was a bit of an odd choice, and I'm still not sure what happened here. We had Ben Polson from Australia, 6'4". This is a big dude to be taken on stage 3, and I don't know why they chose him. And even I was thinking right off the bat, and I'm glad the host even called it. Matt and Akbar are both basically saying, like, I don't know why they picked him, but okay, he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, with his body size and everything, he's a stage 1 guy. I mean, that's a stage for him.
Yeah.
So very interesting that they put him on stage 3. And curious about Team Europe also. So my thoughts are, with both teams, they're all newcomers, and maybe they don't have a lot of experience with the stages in stage 3. So they were like, all right, this is where we give out a freebie. And I could be completely wrong, and I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but I'm just trying to make sense of it. And that's my guessing, is that they're like, this is where we give the freebie. We're going to go for the points in stages 1 and 2. And stage 3, I mean, nobody's going to beat Drew Drechsel.
That's
so
terrible.
I kind of feel that's true. What happened.
It does kind of feel that way. I hadn't even thought of that. As like, who do we put up against Drew? It's like, well, no one's going to beat him. So how can we mix this around to just basically like discard a card on that round? That's terrible, but maybe.
I mean, I hope I'm wrong, because, no disrespect to those competitors, but that's my perspective of like what might have gone on.
Well, here's the thing. So let's talk about Ben first. Ben's a huge guy, but he did respectably. He fell on the ultimate cliffhanger, which is, as far as anyone else got in the regular season. It just seems such a strange thing to send such a big guy into stage. I mean, which is possible if he was like, a top rock climber or something. I'd be like, sure, that's great. Let's see him go.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, I'm pretty sure, is even bigger than Grant McCartney. I mean, he's a big dude. Like, stage 3 is not the stage for him. Like, hey, let's do the cliffhanger and just all these other things that are, like, holding up your body weight by your fingers. Like, pretty much that's most of stage 3. Not the stuff for him.
Yeah, I'm not going to pick one of the towers of power to do stage 3, for sure. I mean,
for real.
As great of athletes as they are, that just doesn't seem where their strengths would lie. And then we had Katie McDonnell from Team Europe. And I was excited. Like, I could tell earlier in the episode, I'm like, wait, they're saving this Katie one for stage 3. Like, she must be a rock climber or something. Like, I can't wait to see how she does. This is going to be fantastic. And then they do her segment, and she's a stunt woman and a free runner. Like, they really stress the free running side. I'm like, well, then why is she on stage 3? It makes no sense.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe she's new to the sport or something. But, she was an unknown to me. I was hopeful that I was going to get a huge surprise of a woman that's just so incredibly talented. And she probably is. I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful, but she should have not have been on stage 3. I think it was a disservice to her and everybody else. I don't think that was fair, and particularly for her, because she probably has a lot to show and a lot of talents, and this was not the stage to highlight them.
No. If she's a free runner, get her on stage 1. Like, what are you doing? Why is... Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand why Jack, the deadly ninja guy, who clearly has a lot of upper body strength, he did stage 4, right? He did the rope climb. Like, why isn't he on stage? I don't get it.
Well, did he get 2 points for his team on the stage that he did run?
Well, yeah, I get it.
Well,
it could be a strategic decision.
I think that's what's going on, bro.
It's clear, like, that's probably what happened, but it's still... Yeah, I mean, if they had done that, if they had swapped them, it would have been Barclay versus Georgia versus Katie. So, I mean, I guess if you're trying to avoid that kind of a thing and trying to mix it all up, that's great. If she's a climber, I would be all into that. I was very excited. And then she didn't do, I mean, she beat the floating boards. I was very excited when she did that.
She beat the floating boards in the same way I would beat the floating boards. I mean, it's just, I feel like everything was new to her.
Well, she had the basic technique down. She was doing it, but then she started struggling right away. I've seen lots of ninjas doing, similarly in past seasons. It's not unusual, but that's not who you want up against Drew Drechsel to try to keep your team alive. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's just not fair to her or her team or anyone to do it that way.
Yeah, it sucks. But, I mean, I think they're just throwing out whoever. So, going into stage 4, though, I gotta say, I still hate, to this day, I hate so much that it is just a rope climb.
Yeah.
But what's interesting for this is when it comes to this rope climb, Rich, is this the first time we've seen Drew Drechsel take on stage 4 in a rope climb? Because I know former times it was, I'm blanking on his name, but you guys know. Okay, so if it was, this is my first chance to see how Drew would do on a stage 4. And I don't want to discredit him or anything, but I'd like to point out that the limit for achieving total victory for stage 4 is 30 seconds, and he completed in 33. So, I don't know. Interesting fact. There you guys go.
That's fine, though, because here's the thing. Even like Isaac, for example, who crushed it in his season, wasn't able to do it in 30 seconds until there was $1 million on the line. And he was able to totally beat the time quite easily. Like when you have that kind of motivator, when it's not just for pride and, and for your own testing yourself, you'll really move as fast as you possibly can with that kind of money on the line.
100% agree, bro. I mean, yeah.
A bucket of beer doesn't quite hold a candle to $1 million.
Yeah. And I low-key think he already knew. At a certain point, he was crushing the other guy.
Yeah.
So what do you think was the mindset of why they chose, Jake Murray dude over any of the other competitors? Because this guy did have, he wasn't a light dude.
I don't know. I think
it comes with experience.
I mean, this is really speculating. This has no basis in reality other than me just throwing it out there and not trying to get on the guy. But maybe he's got a big personality and kind of like, I don't know about bossy, but just, like a type A type guy. And maybe he's pushed to be in stage 1 and pushed to be in stage 4. Hey, I'll go stage 1, then I'll be rested for stage 4. Let's do it that way. And maybe wouldn't hear otherwise, or maybe they pushed him into it. I don't know, but it seems deliberate, right? Like get the guy through stage 1, get the points, get him rested, and then he can go stage 4.
Yeah, I mean, that could happen. And I could see that. I'm going to go a different route, though, and think it's purely based on experience. From what I saw with him and the rest of the team, this guy clearly trains Ninja Warrior on a regular basis. And of course, the other competitors do as well. But the most experienced of that team are a very large guy that probably wouldn't do well in the rope climb, and a female gymnast that I don't know how fast she is at a rope climb. So maybe when it comes to the most experienced of people that can climb the rope, he just was the best pick. Maybe. I don't know.
I'm just looking back here. So Bryson Klein from Australia is a climber, right? He's the climbing dude. Like, why? He's the guy that beat Najee. Like, wouldn't he make sense?
I didn't know he had a climbing background.
Yeah.
Oh, then throw it out the window. I mean, that's the guy that should have, and I mean, they messed up. Let's call a spade. They messed up. That guy 100%, so. Because that was the guy I was kind of thinking of, but I didn't know his background or his experience. If he's a climber, this dude knows how to climb ropes.
Yeah, I think it's the guy, if I remember his story correctly, because he climbed with his dad, and his dad was like in my kind of shape, which was interesting. But he's been climbing his whole life. He would be the dude. Weird.
I don't know.
Whatever. At the end of the day, Team USA brought it home. The trophy has returned to America, and they celebrated with a beer at the top, which was very odd. I'm surprised they showed that.
I mean, it's all. I don't know. I feel like at this point in the world, people aren't going to get that offended by people actually drinking alcohol on television.
Fair enough. It seemed off-brand, but I liked it.
I mean, cool. It is, but especially like how many Ninja Warriors are like super into health?
All of them, I think. And beyond that, like it's all about family and sportsmanship, and like drinking just never seems to enter the picture. So it was jarring. It was funny. There was one part I think that they got right, showing Olivia being very charming on the side, explaining what was going on.
I loved it. That, hey, if we weren't going to get highlights of her athleticism, due to unfortunate circumstances, we damn sure we're going to get some of her personality, and we got it in spades. I mean, that's the type of personality that I like. It wasn't over the top or anything, but it really showed how fun and amazing she is. I thought it was great.
All right, that is it for this week. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can reach me as rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Yeah, hit me up at Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is Bijan 151. You can check out the engagement photos.
All right, thank you all so much for listening. Make sure you subscribe to PewDiePie, to BT Series, and I hope you have a fantastic week.
Peace, love, and deuces, y'all. Who put you up to that?